Hey, Room 63 bloggers. I hope you're ready to learn about how to comment today. We're going to talk about the do's and the don'ts. So hang tight with me. Something you definitely want to do when you're commenting on a blog is read the whole post from start to finish. So if the blogger wrote a story or a piece about a nonfiction piece about maybe a vacation they went on or a place they visited, um, you'll want to make sure to read from top to bottom the whole post before considering some kind of comment to make. We're going to talk a little bit also in this video lesson about how to use the KIND checklist, which stands for K for kind, I for invite, N for notice, and D for double check. This little checklist is going to help us come up with different types of comments to make and some reminders. Things we don't want to do are leave one or two word comments. It's not really very informative to the writer when you just say wow or nice job. They don't really know what that means. And so if you want to leave some kind of compliment, make sure that you tell them some sort of specific detail that you enjoyed or liked or that made you go wow. One other thing you don't want to do is leave a comment before you've actually read the whole post. So if you kind of see the title and you just make a quick comment about that, really take the time to read the writer's work and show that you see value in it by leaving a thoughtful comment. And then last, make sure that none of your comments are jokes or things that maybe you mean to be funny but could come off as rude or unkind. Sometimes there are places for jokes and sarcasm and silliness, but people, when they're sharing their writing and stories and things they've worked hard on, they aren't going to want you to be joking or unkind about what they've done. So make sure, again, that goes back to that KIND checklist that we're going to talk about, which the first job is to make sure all our comments are kind. And we're going to talk about that more soon. So let's talk a little more about that KIND checklist. Each letter in the word kind stands for something that we're going to practice as commenters on blogs. The K stands for kind, which means we're always going to leave kind comments on our classmates' blogs. An example of a kind comment would be, I really liked your topic. That is my favorite animal too. But a non example would be, this was dumb. I don't like your story. So you can really tell the difference. One comment you probably like to receive and one you probably wouldn't. So that's something to consider. What kinds of comments would you like to get? Most likely kind ones. I stands for invite. So when you invite, it's you offering ideas like an invitation. So you might say something like, I wonder if you could. And so you might say something about a way to describe something better or a way to show, not tell. Or you might say, have you tried? So you could say something like, I noticed that you use some really active verbs. Have you tried? And then give them a suggestion of something else to try too. Some good examples of invitations. One would be, I wonder if you tried describing how it felt, if I might understand better. But a non example of an invitation would be, you should try harder. Do you see the difference? Kind of goes back to that kindness idea again, but you want to invite and encourage and instead of just telling them what to do. So rather than saying you should try harder, you could give them a suggestion and invite them to try something new or something different. N stands for notice. So when you share things that you notice, you're going to share maybe something directly from their piece of writing that you connected to. Like, I really liked your description. Or you might tell them something that you noticed they did well as a writer, for instance, putting capital letters in all of the names or something else that you noticed. So one idea of an example of noticing could be smoldering was a really cool word in your story. So pointing out an interesting word. But a non-example could be, how come you forgot all the periods? Which is something you might notice, but it's not a kind comment. And it really all comes back to that. When we're going to notice things, we want to notice and encourage. And telling someone that they forgot something over and over again isn't very encouraging. So you'll instead want to maybe point something out that you noticed that you thought they did really well. And then D stands for double check. So you always want to reread your comment before hitting the comment button. And when you double check, you're going to be reading your comment, revising, and editing your comment. Make sure that you've used periods and capitals where they're supposed to be, that you've done your best job spelling so that the writer can read your comment and see what you noticed or are inviting them to do. Those are all of the parts of the kind checklist. Let's see them all put together. So here they all are. Kind. The K stands for always leaving kind comments. I means that you might invite the reader or writer rather to try something that you maybe noticed. And when you notice things, you could notice things that they did really well and be encouraging as a reader. And then always double check your work to make sure before you hit and submit that comment that it says everything you want to say and that the blogger will be able to read and understand your comment. So here we are back at our site. And what I want you to do now that you know what I expect of you as a commenter, I'd like you to try it out. Now, I'm still not going to be approving any comments on our blogs yet. But if you leave a comment on one of my blog posts, or if there are some of your friends' blog posts available when you see this video, you can leave a comment. And that will be a way for me to see how you are progressing in this blogging process that we're going through. Once I see that you are able to leave quality comments, you're going to get a commenting badge. So let me walk you through the steps so that you know how to leave a comment on the blogs. And I think you're going to be pretty good at this. So when you see a blog post that you want to comment on, and if you chose to comment on one of my two that are here, you might choose the dog one. So about a dog. And of course, after reading the whole post from top to bottom, then you would come down to the commenting box. The box is underneath this toolbar here. So if you click inside the box, then you get the little cursor blinking and you can start typing letters. You can see I just typed some random letters there. So if I was going to leave a really good comment and maybe notice something, maybe I could notice that this writer, because of course I'm commenting as a reader this time, that I noticed they used bold letters in some of their words to really show emphasis in parts of the story they were telling about getting a dog. So my comment might sound something like this: I can tell you are excited about getting a dog. You did a great job showing emphasis using bold and big letters. And that's a pretty good comment. Two full sentences. Now I'm going to go back and reread, make sure I'm saying everything I want to say, and that I have periods and capitals in the right places so it's really clear. I can tell you are excited about getting a dog. You did a great job showing emphasis using bold and big letters. Okay. Now I'm ready to hit that comment button. My comment is kind. I talked about something that I noticed and I double checked. And then my comment shows up. And if I was a student leaving a comment, the comments would not publish right away. They would come to me, to my computer. And the next time I'm on my computer, I would be able to check and see what kinds of comments you're leaving. And pretty soon, when kids start graduating with commenting badges, then I'll start approving your comments. So you kind of got to get to that next level before you get to do those things. Like I said in the very first lesson, the more, maybe it was lesson two, um, you will get more freedom with the amount of effort that you put into this. And when you show me that you're really getting ready to be an expert blogger and commenter.